Americans have a love affair with simple French cooking. Last year, fans enjoyed the book and movie Julie and Julia. And this year, fans of simple French cuisine can explore the recipes in Dori Gspan's new cookbook called Around My French Table. In this week's edition of Authors Revealed, Becky Anderson talks to Dori about her latest recipes.
It's Authors Revealed, and I'm Becky Anderson. I am so excited, and you're going to be drooling because we have one of the most delicious authors for Authors Revealed. It's Dori Gspan. She's here with her new cookbook. It's called Around My French Table. Well, Dori, I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to have you here at Anderson's. I should say a delicious pleasure.
Oh, well,
yeah.
I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, so your new cookbook, we are so excited about it. And I'm going to tell you.
You're not as excited about it as I am.
Well,
I'm more excited.
That says so much, because just looking at the book, the photography is absolutely just brilliant, beautiful. And it will make you literally drool on the page by looking at the pictures in this book.
I love the pictures. You know, it's the same photographer, the whole team that worked on Baking from My Home to Yours.
Okay.
And yet it has, I think, a very different look.
It has a real warm, rich feel. How did you decide what goes in and what you had to leave out? How hard that must be?
Well, that was really hard because I fell in love with Paris more than 30 years ago. And I came home from our first trip to Paris and said to my mother, "You've made this terrible mistake. You had me in Brooklyn, and I should have been born in Paris." And I tried to make up for her lapse of judgment for decades after. And so I was going back and forth to France, and I was always, every time I would go, I would collect recipes. I would talk to people about food. And then 13 years ago, we moved to Paris as part-timers. And so the recipes in Around My French Table come from that whole experience of all the travel that I did, and then the time, the 13 years when I've actually been able to shop and to cook. And it's a mixture. They're my recipes. They're the recipes of chefs whose, bistros I love, but really simple food. And then from my friends, and I chose my French friends well. They're all good cooks.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful.
So it's that mix of both traditional and really very modern French food.
Right. When you're creating a recipe and it's something that's coming from you, how many times do you taste test it to make sure it's just right?
It's hard to tell. It's hard to say, oh, I test every recipe 3 times. Right?
Yeah.
I test a recipe and then I'll test it again, at least once again. And if it's right, I'll write it. And so I'll write the ingredient list and the instructions. And then that goes to a tester, somebody else to make, so that they're testing both the formula, so to speak, and the instructions.
Right.
And then I'll usually make it again. And some things I make again and again and again.
We've had one of the most drooling and delicious episodes of Authors Revealed. It was Dori Gspan and her brand new cookbook. It's called Around My French Table.